Hey everyone, welcome back for another weekly hive inspection. Quick little recap of the week. Starting out last weekend, we ended up having some showers. Of course, living in Oregon, this weather is always unpredictable. But this is our first storm with Colony, so we were definitely curious to see how they would react and seeing how their forage would be impacted. Being that this is a new colony and still getting established, building comb, raising brood, and organizing their new home, all of this takes energy, and when the weather keeps them inside, they become even more dependent on the sugar water feeder. Luckily, the storm only lasted the weekend, and the rest of the week turned to sunshine and gradually grew in temperature. I ended up having to replace the feeder twice this week, and I'm very surprised at how much this colony consumes. For now, that's okay. They're still getting established, and we need to keep feeding them like this for the next couple of weeks. Now, it's time to suit up and get into the hive. Rather than spending time working through every box, I'm heading straight into the brood chamber where most of the important activity should be happening. The goal of today's inspection is simple: check on brood development, evaluate the colony's progress, and hopefully find the queen. We'll continue smoking as always to keep this colony calm as we work our way through. Now, I know from last week's inspection, I pushed these frames tight together, and in doing so, they've worked off of some of the previous bridging that they have done and connected the frames again. I had to pull them apart so I can get my inspection done, but I think it's time to finally do something about this. No signs of the queen off of that first frame, so we'll smoke some more and look at the next. This next frame was also in the middle and showed some solid bee coverage. When you're searching for the queen, patience is everything. She can be surprisingly difficult to spot among thousands of workers moving across the comb. I noticed a hidden layer off of this frame, where it looks like they worked off of their bridge and then worked in the space between the two frames. Again, I think this was from too much spacing, and they like to work in a tight space. This does make spotting the queen a little bit more difficult, as she could be anywhere underneath there. I sprayed a mixture of sugar water on the backside of this frame to help them draw out their comb. I saw that this could be useful from another video and decided to give it a try here. To help deter them from bridging, I also like to rotate these frames within the hive. I know I should go about this in a uniform way, but since most of these frames are already drawn out in a unique way, I really just place them back in however I can get them back in the easiest. I do try and put a new frame in the middle of the bunch so that way they can begin to draw that out, so I do that here. The search continues for the queen, so I'll go ahead and shake these guys off, get a closer look. Still no signs of her just yet, but that's okay. Sometimes the queen wins the game of hide and seek, and that's part of beekeeping. The overall condition of the colony still gives me confidence that things are moving in the right direction. This is still a good time for maintenance. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's time to do something about this bridging once and for all. In total, this particular frame had 3 sections of bridging that looked like it had stopped them short of drying out the frame completely. Now, I've heard you can mash down this wonky comb on top of this frame to help them dry it out more, but for now I'll just continue with my sugar water mixture spray. I'll try one trick at a time for now. Plus, I know my chickens will enjoy a sweet snack. Just as I was finishing up, I thought the wad of bees down here in the corner were concealing the queen, but she continues to elude me for now. With that, we'll go ahead and call this inspection a wrap. We'll reassemble the hive and add our feeder at the top again. Overall, the colony appears healthy and they're continuing to eat well. We'll go ahead and let these bees signal the others with their happy dance to let everybody know it's time to come home. Thanks for following along, and I'll see you at the next hive inspection.